Madex Manifesto. In the realm of creation, where the soul's expression finds form in color, sound, and shape, there lies a sacred covenant between the artist and their craft. This manifesto is a declaration of fidelity to that covenant, a refusal to succumb to the siren calls of mediocrity and avarice, which threaten to corrupt the pure essence of our work. We stand at a crossroads where the path of integrity diverges sharply from the road paved with gold, but lined with the hollow shells of compromised vision and diluted passion.
Print money to do that.
The charlatan, cloaked in the guise of opportunity, beckons us towards the latter, promising riches and acclaim in exchange for the very soul of our artistry. This manifesto is our resolute answer. We will not be swayed. Art, in its highest form, is an unyielding quest for truth and beauty, a journey inward to the depths of the human experience, and outward to the vastness of our collective imagination. It is both a mirror reflecting the world as it is, and a window to what it could be. To reduce this sacred pursuit to mere commodity, to churn out soulless creations for the sake of profit, is an affront to the creative spirit that dwells within each of us. The charlatan preys upon our fears and insecurities, whispering of a world where survival hinges on conformity and success is measured in material wealth. But we know that the true value of art cannot be quantified by currency or popularity. It is found in the moments of connection and understanding, in the shared humanity that emerges from the canvas, the page, the melody. Therefore, we reject the false promises of easy fortune and fleeting fame. Our commitment is to the enduring legacy of quality and depth, to works that challenge, inspire, and move the human soul. We pledge to uphold the standards of excellence that have guided the masters of our past, even in the face of a culture that increasingly values the quick and the cheap over the timeless and the profound. Let this manifesto serve as a beacon to all who believe in the transformative power of art. In defiance of the charlatan's temptation, we choose the path of resistance, the road less traveled, fraught with challenges, but rich with rewards. Our creations will not be the product of compromise, but the embodiments of our most authentic selves and our deepest truths. In solidarity with artists everywhere who labor in the name of beauty and truth, we stand firm in our resolve. We will not dilute our visions or betray our talents for the sake of convenience or profit. Our art will remain a testament to the indomitable spirit of creation, a light that no darkness of mediocrity can extinguish. Let this manifesto be our vow, to never falter in our dedication to the craft, to always strive for the pinnacle of artistic achievement, and to live and create in a manner worthy of the gifts we have been bestowed. In the face of temptation, we hold fast to our principles, for in the end, it is not the applause of the present, but the respect of posterity we seek. Our legacy will not be one of compromise, but of unyielding commitment to the excellence and integrity that define the true essence of art.
Happy Bitcoin. What day of the week is it? Happy Bitcoin Tuesday, freaks. It's your host, Odell, here for another Citadel Dispatch, the interactive live show focused on actionable Bitcoin and freedom tech discussion. I'm your host, Odell, here. We have a great guest today. I'm dealing with a little bit of technical difficulties, which is that Zapstream is currently not working. So we have pivoted hard into the YouTube live chat, which is now shown on screen. But anyway, with all that said, that was the Madex Manifesto. I have Bitcoin artist and Bitcoin legend and good friend Madex here to join me. How's it going, Madex? Oh, and I muted you. I'm sorry. It's one of those days. You're unmuted.
No worries. Thanks
Welcome.
for having me.
Well, thanks for joining.
Oh, we're out of sync a little bit here.
Yeah, did it just like everything just broke all at once? We're good. We're good. Everything will be fine. It's a pleasure. So, ladies and gentlemen, freaks, Madex is one of the best Bitcoin artists out there. He's one of my two favorite artists. Just shout out to No Good, who did the album art for all the art for Citadel Dispatch. But Madex, first and foremost, what was the inspiration for that manifesto that we just watched and listened to?
Well, most importantly, it was created so that if I'm killed somehow, there's at least something left behind that can have a positive impact now that I hope the rest of the Madex project eventually does. So I tried to take everything that I was feeling and everything that I felt was important as a message to sort of anchor this change in the way all products are made and designed and cared for as a result of Bitcoin appearing, and have sort of like a touch point that, okay, this is the moment where things shifted from tragic garbage fiat trash to people beginning to hone their skills, seek improvement, reach higher, and for people with capital to not settle for bullshit stuff that just doesn't have any weight that can carry on any momentum into the future. And yeah, so I tried to kind of capture all of that as best I could with just kind of the random footage that I had. Madex is a 10-year-old project that's only now starting to get some legs. And so had quite a lot of footage lying around, and I thought it was the perfect kind of backdrop to kind of put it all to my journey from being really, really horrible at everything to a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better to kind of where I am now. And, I think it's a good, just a good layout for anyone in the future that wants to kind of take on creative arts as a career and produce cool stuff for the Bitcoin future.
Badass. So did you do the editing yourself?
So the first cut was done by Kinetic Finance, Julian. Okay. So he did the first cut, and then Aiden, who's been filming with me for 10 years, and myself, we sat down and did like the final edit and the final cut to kind of get all the timing sorted properly, make sure that the voiceover was perfect, lock in all, and then really match all the clips in a way that I just wanted there to be as many Easter eggs as possible in the whole thing. So we really tried to pick out stuff that kind of has a link or has a meaning kind of beyond even just the words and the visuals there. So dialed in that last part, and then I had a huge amount of stage fright and decided I wasn't going to release it. And then I was encouraged by the supportive cast around me that it had to be released, and I just kind of got over it and was like, well, whatever. it's got to be out there. But
I
yeah,
I mean, I think you crushed it. You really captured, I think, a lot of the essence of your work. I mean, huge shout out to our good friend Harry, my co-founder at Bitcoin Park, for being the voiceover. That I think you really nailed it on voiceover
yeah,
cast.
that was absolutely excellent.
But I mean, it's a complete change of pace for you. So to the listeners that are not aware, Madex mostly he focuses on physical art. He's incredibly unique in the physical art space, um, like actual like canvas and I guess paint. Is that I don't know what you use. I'm not an artist, but this was a major departure from that while still trying to capture the essence of what you constantly ship. And I think you did a really good job at that. But I guess let's just pull it back. Uh, I think one of the most unique aspects of of what you produce um, is that you do try and capture this idea of like Bitcoin culture, and how the world might be different from an artist's point of view under a Bitcoin standard. When you think, I mean, you've been in Bitcoin almost as long as me, or as long as me. I think we have basically the same timeline, like a little over a decade. Um, how have you felt like Bitcoin culture like change over time?
Well, I mean, I think I guess we could call it culture now, but it's just the results of the change in incentives that Bitcoin brings, and kind of imagining into that future, and I guess calling attention to all of that. And I think that, I guess, like culture, or I'd say like community wise, I don't think we were really. I think Bitcoin needed to be really secure for the artistic conversations to really kind of start taking off, because beforehand it was like everybody wanted to be early on Bitcoin, but it was actually like really horrible and fucked up to be early on Bitcoin, and extremely painful. And if you were early on Bitcoin, it means that for the rest of your life, no matter how hard you worked, you will always be in the red forever. And that's a lot. That's a lot to carry. And at that time, there wasn't really like I feel like I didn't have 1,000,000% certainty in Bitcoin until the No 2x stuff, and that whole situation playing out. That, to me, that kind of like showed like, okay, this is really like not fucking going anywhere, and truly nobody can fuck with it. And then I think that just kind of laid the stage for being able to actually like being able to fantasize about what's possible as this thing succeeds, and then try and shed light on those futures, and I guess use the dream of those futures to bring more people in, to have more people learn about what we're doing, and to really share what's possible with this little change of fixing the money. So I remember zero artistic conversations really in the beginning, in the early days, and then now
Did you freeze on me? Did we lose? We lost Madex. This is in the middle of nowhere with no heat, by the way, which is why he has a jacket on.
I'm back. How is it?
I'm getting mixed signals. I think the Nostr chat is working now, but I'm glad you're back. I'm doing like technical stuff over here, trying to fix. But I think that was your fault. You disconnected. But anyway, you were kind of rambling on.
Yeah, I think
It's been a long decade.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know who said it, but
I mean, it's like, can you say 10 years in the next 30 seconds? Like,
So where do we want to go for this? First of all, to the Nostr live chat, I'm aware that it's working now, and I'm going to try and get it back into the live stream. So for everyone out there, it's citadeldispatch.com/stream. Madex is having internet connectivity issues,
Okay,
but
think we're
that
good
is
now.
where the Nostr live chat is. You don't need a Nostr account to use it, and I will pipe in that chat once I get it going. But if you see me working in the background, that's me trying to get it up on my side. For some reason, I can't get it to work. So I mean, let's talk real quick about. I mean, I want to go kind of broad here because I think your perspective on Bitcoin is interesting, and we've kind of become the minority, even though we kind of started as the majority in Bitcoin, and that's kind of where I was going at with the last decade. But one piece that I think is an interesting piece here is, so you're an artist and you've seen the rise of NFTs and digital art, and then it came to Bitcoin with inscriptions. What's your opinion on those? Do you release NFTs?
No.
That's
I
your
don't know.
answer?
It's stupid. Yeah,
I
no,
feel like
it's
you're pretty
stupid, man. I
passionate
think
about this.
anybody with any IQ understands that it's fucking stupid. Like, I just, it's one thing to be collecting stuff, but then another thing to be paying real world money prices for digital files. It's just totally insane. I think the large majority of it is fake. I think the large majority of it is money laundering, or just like pumping, and that the same. It's just repackaged ICO scams. There's no differences. And the only thing is that, like, when the ICO scams were happening, the scammers were going to major corporations and saying, hey, like, you got to get on the cutting edge of this new technology and you don't want to be left behind by blockchain. And then now the mark has just changed because the corporations wised up to that and they're like, yeah, this blockchain's bullshit. At least most of them did. And so the scammers had to change their mark. And the most vulnerable community, I think, in fiat times on earth is artists and creators. It's the hardest. It's the work with the most passion behind it and the hardest to make a living in fiat conditions. And so artists just became the new target, and the scam went from asking corporations, don't you want to be like ahead with the best new technology? And now it's with the artists, like, oh, here's a whole new market that can open up to you, that can finance you, and you can sell to, and you're going to be on the cutting edge of how the world is changing. And it's just a total bullshit pitch. And then it distracts people from making actual work that can have momentum into the future and that matters, because people are fucking around with repeating AI gens and then posting the graphic files, or just making really shit like pixely stuff or whatever. We've all seen like all the crap out there, and none of it is going to be thought of or remembered, especially in the face of Bitcoin reigning superior and kickstarting this renaissance of making things that really are built to last. You want if something is built to last, you want it to be like fucking beautiful, because you don't want anyone to tear it down because it's ugly. So you got to make it really, really awesome.
Love that. By the way, I think something happened to your microphone when you disconnected and reconnected. It was like a little bit crackly.
Oh shit.
Maybe it's switched which microphone it's using. I'm still trying to get the Nostr live chat. I'm on an Airbnb Wi-Fi over here. Maybe the ISP over here is fucking with me, but I'm doing that live troubleshoot thing, which is great. But we have a ton of freaks that are zapping us in the Nostr live stream, so I'm trying to get them over here. Yeah, I mean, you've never shipped an NFT. You specifically are physical art only. In a world that is going increasingly digital, you have done the exact diametric opposite. I feel like that should be applauded. Like that's amazing.
Well, thank you. I mean, I totally understand why so many artists went with it. I mean, for the most part, they were just naive and didn't understand the scam because they don't, crypto is like this total big monster of confusion to anyone who's new to it. But most importantly, like in a fiat world, nobody's really supporting artists, and especially artists with no followings. And the whole NFT stuff like really was a way in the beginning to create like income streams for those artists. But then the obvious issue is that, you know, what they're selling has no longevity. So it can't hold its value. But I mean, the first thing I did when the day I read about the NFTs was realized with the open dime from CoinKite, you could, if what they cared about that they said was valuable about the NFT was the artist's signature, you could mine a vanity address in Bitcoin and then use that address to sign transactions to an open dime and then physically attach the open dime to the piece of artwork. So you'd have a verification of the artist's signature physically attached to the artwork. And because of course, I was, I guess, naive in the beginning too. I didn't think it was about scamming people. And I was like, oh, okay, they're saying that like a digital signature has value in authenticating the art. So a vanity address and an open dime attached to any piece of art, that's a verification. And that's all the stuff they like to say about in the blockchain. And then CoinKite developed the Sats chip after that.
You mix the two elements together because I think there is actually something there about like almost like a digital certificate of authenticity, right? So like you're like literally attaching this physical Bitcoin hardware to the back of it that has that actually like acts as a certificate of authenticity, right? But it's a piece of physical art.
Yeah. And then if anyone ever wants to verify it, they can just disconnect. And like this is the problem why none of this stuff can ever work is because you need, like, just because a piece of artwork has, say, let's say it's one of my pieces and it has the open dime and it has a digital signature from Madex, you still need a third party to verify that the art that it's attached to is legitimate. So that's why blockchain never succeeded in fucking anything, is because no matter what, when you're moving from physical to the digital world, you need a third party to verify it.
Right.
Like if you're putting blockchain tracking chips on fucking chickens that you're sending around the world, you need someone there to authenticate that it is indeed attached to what they say it is attached to. And then on top of that, you got to be able to trust that person. And then there's a whole trust web off of it right away. So it's like, that's why none of that stuff worked in the first place. So it's definitely like a novelty thing. There's nothing like foolproof about it in terms of if like Madex work ever got to extreme levels of authenticating, maybe 100 years in the future or something. But it's fun, it's cool, and it's a way that you can kind of make something that is older, modern. And also it gets people interested in Bitcoin, because a lot of people buy my work that are not Bitcoiners. They're just anti-state, or they just, a lot of the work is based off of portraits and people and lots of hot babes and all that stuff. So, and then when they see work that has the open dimes attached to it, it kind of starts the conversation. So it's like a little bit of a Trojan horse in that way. And I'm hoping to do more of that kind of stuff, because art is the most difficult thing in the world to sell. It is like the absolute premium, highest level luxury good. There's nothing more luxurious than spending $10 million on a painting. Like if you buy a, Pagani Utopia, it's like $3 million or whatever. If you buy a painting, it's 10 million. It's like, it's just really ridiculous in itself. A little spiel on that. Like for a long time, I was really motivated by like these huge sales and these huge auctions and these like big artists that you would hear about. XYZ sells painting for whatever. And but later, as I started really studying the space and understanding the art business, came to realize that, and thankful to understanding a lot about Bitcoin and about fiat incentives, it's all fake. All those artists, all that art moving, all that money moving. It's, sure, there's some suckers that get sucked in along the way that like spend 10 million for the sake of just really wanting to have that painting, but the majority of it is just moving money in fiat ways that make it more palatable for the people who want that money.
I'm still technical. I'm going to have the Nostr chat up any moment now. Yeah, I mean, so it's not just, first of all, I think you demean the certificate of authenticity aspect a little bit. As long as your private key is not compromised, no one can fake an original Madex with an open dime on the back. Like it's actually,
Yeah, it's true. I mean, the only, they could like attach an open dime to something that is not a Madex. But I've also tried to make my work, for the most part, like all the major stuff, like when you're getting into the big paintings, all of those are impossible to duplicate. Like there's no Chinese painter that can re-oil paint a Madex. They're just too insanely complicated to ever be copied. And that's from like the paper tearing and the multi-layering, building up all the layers, adding the different resin layers. It's just impossible to duplicate. On stuff that is not as complex, then you could have people messing around, switching stuff, moving things, like taking an open dime from a small piece that's worth 10 grand and putting it onto a fake giant piece that's worth and then faking it that way. But like you're right. I mean, there will only be, as long as the Madex key is not compromised, every single one of those open dimes is a verification.
True. They could take an existing Madex open dime and put it on a piece of shit.
Yeah,
because there's nothing that links the art to the actual open dime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had a site that was tracking and what, because when I first did all this stuff, I was like, holy shit, this is fucking genius. And and I built a whole website that watches all the addresses. So all the addresses were tied to a photo of the painting that it was attached to, with the front and back, and then the transaction, the address, and then it had a green or a red toggle that, and what the site was checking for was if the coins on that open dime have been swept or moved. So if the coins had been moved, then it would void it, and it would show red, voided. And if the coins were still in that address on that open dime, it would be green. And yeah, it was freaking sweet. It's still there, just sitting there, but like that stuff costs a bunch to maintain, and like I felt like nobody cared at the time. But so I gotta get in the future, I want to get it running full speed with kind of everything new that's coming out, and really have like a solid base there, get it all updated. Like I have a record of all the addresses I've ever funded, and you can see them all like through the vanity address. But having like an actual, I think I had the domain like verify Madex or something. So
by the way, 22 minutes into the conversation, I got the Nostr live chat up. I'm sorry, guys. I appreciate all you apps. You see all those apps we've been getting? Well, it wasn't. These are the ride or dies.
Nice.
So you touched on a little piece there, right? Is like you actually put Bitcoin on the open dime too. It's not just a digital signature. So I like to think of it almost like I think your art is worth it. I mean, I don't buy art. I stack sats, and like it's very hard for me to separate myself with Bitcoin. And like you said, art is a luxury good. But I have made the exception for your pieces. I will say that I usually get a print and not the originals because I still can't justify the higher price tag for the one of one originals. But the one of one originals come with Bitcoin on the back. Like there's actually Bitcoin in the painting. You know, like
in
so
in select
there's like a
ones.
base value. It was like a base value no matter what in the art. That's way below the sticker price, but still kind of cool.
Yeah. Everything was really on track until the whole ordinals bullshit, because all the ordinals flooding and spamming the network just made it impossible to fund the open dimes. And so my whole like supply chain got fucking backed up. And then after that, I was like, okay, well, basically they had, and then also I had a couple that were lost in the mail, and or like stolen off people's front porches or whatever. So I made two changes. First change is that nothing ships with Bitcoin on it anymore. If the client wants coins, then we have to arrange it once the art is in their hands. And then also everything is shipped with FedEx fucking priority tracking numbers, all that stuff. And that's why the shipping is really expensive on the site. Because just things going missing is not worth dealing with. It's really upsetting.
You load it up with Bitcoin after they receive it, but not always. Not all originals are going to have Bitcoin on the back anymore.
Well, I mean, I haven't really made a decision on it.
You should always
you should
put Bitcoin on all of
that. I probably will. It's just kind of a logistics thing, but it's definitely possible. So, and now that all the ordinal stuff has kind of cooled off and gone away, like it's possible to get small transactions through again.
I mean, how big do you usually put in?
Well, for a long time, I was putting 1 million sats on every single one, and then I found out that was fucking stupid. So then I started putting fucking 500,000, and then 100,000. So the majority of them have 100,000 sats on them, and then some of them have like obscure, like strange numbers that are relevant somehow. Numerology type numbers. It varies. But yeah, I mean, the ultimate thing would be to have guys, art is like a fucking super hard business. Like, okay, take the hardest business in the world to compete in, the hardest business in the world to sell in, and then add that your primary client market is Bitcoiners, the hardest people in the world to take money from. So, I've had to make a lot of fucking changes and move things around. But I mean, basically what's happening right now is I'm stopped. There's going to be no more small Madex artwork. So I have like about, 50 or so pieces left to finish and a couple others to release. And then once all that stuff is out, there's no more small stuff. And then the future is rolling with these jewels, which I don't know if you've seen yet. So
I have not.
They're very awesome. I'm a Bitcoiner who's going to be selling gold and silver.
You're still going to make art pieces, right?
Yeah, but I'm still going to make the art pieces, but the art is just going to be it's going to be big art only, basically, like big price items. And
like size,
like big, yeah, like big stuff. Like probably like minimum size, like 30 by 40 inches kind of realm. And
okay, I like that size.
Yeah, and
but
instead of making small stuff. So
if I go onto your website right now, first of all, by the way, I think I've told you this in person, but there was heavy drinking involved. I really like the idea of the one of one original. And I think it should have an open dime or a Sats chip or whatever, however you want to do that on the back, with Bitcoin in it. One of one original, priced appropriately, which should be high. I think. I mean, right now, it's like $6,000 to $9,000 in fiat terms, and at that price point, by the way, I think you can justify putting 1 million Sats on them again, which right now is like $600 something like that. Like a decent chunk is in there, and if you can just raise the price by $600 or whatever, just put Bitcoin on the back after they arrive, like wait till the recipient confirms it, then you send it to it. And then I really like the idea of the limited edition prints, which is what I've been a sucker for lately, at a lower price point. but those should still be limited edition. You know, I think some of them are like 1 of 31. I think 31 is what you settled on for a lot of them.
34.
34. I like that idea. Individually numbered, so you get like double limited edition about it. That makes sense to me. The thing about Bitcoiners is we are also holding, well, a lot of us are holding the majority of our wealth in what I believe is the best asset of all time. So over time, you know, I think I will accumulate more Madex pieces. It's just not at this point of my existence am I willing to justify it. But I expect to. I was talking to my wife. I was like, we want like a Madex room. Like one day we'll have like a Madex room, you know. And I'm seeing someone in the live Nostr chat. By the way, guys, as always, you guys are kind of the co-hosts with me. So feel free to put your comments and questions in the live chat. Obviously, your zaps are appreciated. The show does not have any advertisers or sponsors. I still remain one of the few that are trying to do the pure value for value model with no sponsorships. So your zaps do go a long way. He's asking about displays at Bitcoin Park. We actually we've displayed Madex for a long time at the park, but we're about to ape into it in an even bigger way. It's going to become, you know, one of the main showcases of Madex pieces where you can actually see them in person, and then you can actually buy them directly in person. So I'm pretty excited about that. I think that's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I have a huge crate that's shipping out to you probably Thursday or Friday. I have a lot of stuff. So
that's badass. Well, we're going to, for what it's worth, we've upped our security system at the park, and Nashville, Tennessee. Tennessee is a constitutional carry state, so
Tennessee does not fuck around, man.
That's awesome. So the coins, what's the deal with the metal jewelry? Is this just going to be an addition? Is it like a lower price point or easier?
Yeah,
to
well,
ship,
the main thing is that like my timing was super fucking bad. Like I rented out a huge warehouse. I hired some staff to help me. I like put in a whole bunch of expansion plans, and then FTX happened like a month later.
Yeah.
And so how I handled like this bear market that we went through is basically like flooded art out. And didn't even really like, I'm like, if it's fucking bear market, like let's get original work flowing and get it out at a good price and like keep everything rolling at Madex. And I never really, and I had this kind of like attitude about prints at that time. I didn't want to do prints. And I guess I kind of realized that I want to do more than like sit in a studio hunched over art for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. And like, I don't get me wrong, I love it. But like when it's like week over week over week, and all of a sudden I was like, well, it really, people, not everyone can afford an original piece. And then B, I kind of realized that every single one of those prints going out there is sort of, it's just awesome. I don't know. I don't think that like only people who are ballers should be able to have Madex stuff. So that's kind of the plan now, is basically do like the big paintings at that high price point and then do limited series print editions of them. And then the primary is what I realized, like my most common feedback from doing this for so long is Madex, love your stuff. You're fucking awesome. But I don't have a house / my wife doesn't want AK-47s and hot women on the walls. And so, you know, otherwise I totally buy your stuff. So, you know, I'll show this here. You're not going to be able to see it really at all, I don't think.
Yeah.
But so this is, I guess, jokingly, I can say it's Madex to go. So you don't have a house? Well, don't worry. I got a whole suite of all this kind of awesome stuff. that you can load up on and, you know, take art
Oh,
on the
that's
go.
awesome. So it's
Because
in addition
I
to.
think,
It's not like a pivot. It's in addition to.
no, it's a pivot, as in like the art is just got to become more fucking scarce because it takes so much of my time. And not only that, it's like it's just you when you start putting energy into a painting that's going to take like 2,500 hours to complete it, or even 100 hours, or even like a 10-hour one, or even like a 5-hour one. And if you like, every single thing I've ever fucking made, I had no fucking idea if anyone would care at all. You just kind of like try something and you make something that you want to exist, and then you put it out there. So like, for example, like on the website right now, I think there's a couple pieces on there that are like the best fucking things I have ever fucking made. And they were put up at same size, same amount of time, same detail as other pieces that sold in 30 minutes. And they've been sitting there for 8 months, right? So, you know, I think they're sick, but like, I guess, I don't know. You got to find your market. So it's really difficult to like produce really big, amazing stuff when you have to manage like your monthly cash flows and your expenses and everything. And like, you know, I can't, like, I got to keep the electricity going, and I got to, you know, hopefully never have to sell Bitcoin ever again, because the last bear market was horrible. And so the idea is basically to cash flow the business with the jewelry. And then that kind of buys me the time to be able to really like make some fucking meaningful large scale work, and be able to provide that. So,
I respect that. That makes complete sense to me. I mean, it's as someone whose income is also very much tied to Bitcoin, managing liquidity in a bear market, when your income goes down at the same time as your savings, is quite brutal. And I don't think people really appreciate it until they live it. So as a result, the goal is always to try and increase cash flow as much as possible, reduce expenses as much as possible to give yourself some wiggle room.
Yeah.
I will say, the proof of work that you put into your art is very evident. And I'm not like an artistic eye. I don't think I'm like particularly artistic. I just think it's badass. But I also, like, you can feel it. You can feel that it's different than a lot of the art you see out there. I mean, most art does not even come close to separating me from my sats, and you come much closer. It is a funny dynamic with Bitcoiners, specifically with the one-of-one pieces, because there are a couple on there that I really want, and it's kind of I'm in a Mexican standoff with the other Bitcoiners that are aware of you, because if Bitcoin pumps, if I can get in there and buy it before someone else does, and it's like, so there's at least a dozen other people that probably have their eyes on the same piece of art, right? And we're all using the same savings mechanism, and we're all pricing it against the same thing, and we're all sitting there. It's like, tomorrow will it be gone, or can I wait? Can I wait another day? I think I can wait another day, and it's kind of like this Mexican standoff. And then meanwhile, you need to like pay rent and pay expenses, so you're like the third character in the Mexican standoff. We're getting the crackle on your mic again, by the way. I don't know.
Oh, fuck. Here.
Does it keep switching? Which mic? You're good. I lost the crackle.
I don't know. Hey, how's that? Check.
Yep, you're
Better?
good. Did it like switch mics or something?
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but
yeah, it is.
Well, it did last time, but anyway.
But I like the accessibility, because I want to support you. I want to look at the art, right? This is another thing that's different with digital. Like, to me, like, art is something I should feel. It's something I should live, right? And it should be like on my wall, proudly displayed. And the prints just make it more accessible, right? It makes it. The prints make it an impulse buy, while the one-of-ones, with still having a limited edition aspect to it, it's not like you're gonna. I mean, we're trusting you, but I assume you're gonna hold up your end of the bargain and not just like.
Oh, I can tell you I will. It is such a pain in the ass to fucking make those prints. I had an artist come in the studio the other day who was just visiting me because he wanted to see like the workspace. And he saw like this whole stack getting signed and he was like, what's going on here? And then I was like, this is the whole signing process. And he's like, oh, cool. Show me your signing process. So I showed him the signing process and he's like, dude, people should be paying $1,000 for every print with all the fucking shit you do. And then he was telling me that he just like fucking pencil squibbles and then ships his stuff off. And I'm like, okay, well, you know, I don't know. I like, it's just, it's gotta be sick, right? It's fiat mentality. You know, but what's weird is that there's a balance to it too. Like, you know, I need to have some things like that that are accessible as well. Like I really fucked up in Prague because I didn't have anything at a lower price point.
You need the impulse buy. I can't.
Yeah, I needed like a $30, $20, $40, whatever euro or crowns or whatever they call them, coronas, print there, and I didn't have that. So next year, 100%, I'll have that because you just. Yeah, I don't know. Europe's a different place. We'll see what Lugano's like, but like, you know, Miami, like Miami, everybody was buying stuff and it was just like ripping and, you know, everyone knew who I was and it was fucking sweet. And I guess I kind of like, you know, you start off retarded no matter what you're doing. And so me coming into Europe to do the big exhibition at BTC Prague, I just kind of had, I guess, I was very humbled by the whole experience because the Europeans are like, I don't give a fuck. Also, who the fuck are you? Also, you know, one guy was like 40 euros for a t-shirt. That's insane. And cause everything's cheaper there, right? Everything is like way cheaper here. Like in America, $40 for a t-shirt is fully normal. Over there, he's like, that's fucking insane. And I'm like, well, you know, I'm actually kind of giving it away to you because it was silk screened in my studio in Alberta. It was put on a fucking airplane. It was flown across the ocean. Like a lot of effort went into getting this t-shirt here. On the digital stuff, I just wanted to say like print, like something I've been doing recently that's awesome is just printing photos from my iPhone. Like getting them printed as if they were shot on film. You know, you'd go and drop off a roll and get a deck of film. Getting iPhone photos printed like that and having a deck of them. And man, and when you do that, just put the photo on your iPhone next to the printed photo and you'll just a bazillion % for the final time realize why all the NFT stuff is bullshit.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, look, historically, a lot of artists haven't even been appreciated till after they die. I mean, it's something that requires a lot of proof of work. People need to understand, like it's a long-term grind, and I think you've been doing it for a while, and it shows. And I think it just for a little pep talk, a little therapy session here. Like I think it's starting to compound, and you're starting to get real momentum. I know specifically myself, you know, I feel that, which is one of the reasons why I'm willing, like why I'm buying your art in the first place, even though they're just prints right now, and why I have you on the show, because to me it's very unique in that regard. In a world of a lot of fiat trash and bullshit, your art does stand apart, but it requires like a little bit of education and people to realize how much work has gone into it. So some people just might not be aware of it. Lugano obviously is it's like one of the most expensive cities I've ever been to. So we'll see how much success you have there. But I mean, don't sell yourself short. Like a lot of it is you actually putting value on yourself and pricing things accordingly. And some of these things will take some. I mean, once again, like on these one of one things, like I'm laying in bed some nights and I'm like, do I buy it? Should I buy it?
Yeah, man. I see the carts, right? Like I see the carts where guys like go and fill up carts and then like abandon the carts like on the back end.
I did that.
So like there's a bunch of guys who like every like month or so they'll add there's two pieces that I'm just like they're gonna fucking go at any second, and I'll see like the cart things from it being like it was added to the cart, but then, they didn't make it to the checkout. And I just think it's hilarious because it's like the same guys coming back. I'm like, I know it's going to land at some point. Like,
Okay, well, everyone, his art, you can buy his art, you can see his art. Madex.art is the website. You can pay in Bitcoin or dollars. Just keep in mind, if you pay in dollars, Madex will always look down on you for it forever.
Yeah.
But you're welcome. You're welcome to do it. He accepts Apple Pay. He accepts all the fiat methods. But I don't think I could look him in the eyes if I didn't pay with Bitcoin. Let's move on. So you're wearing this hat, which you designed, I believe. It's a Bull Bitcoin hat. You've been with Bull Bitcoin for a while. They're one of your biggest supporters. What is your role at Bull Bitcoin? Do you actually do any day to day there, or are you just more of like a culture brand piece?
Well, I'm glad you didn't say mascot.
Are you a mascot?
No.
Best mascot in the industry.
Yeah. Well, at Bull, Bull was before Bull became the full Bull. It was a fully functioning and operating company, and Bull Bitcoin was a rebrand when Dave Bradley and I joined up with Francis. So, and created the Bull Bitcoin brand, all the visuals and all the merch, and basically ensure that like wherever Bull Bitcoin shows up, whether it's our own our own staff or whether it's people who are clients or supporters, that everyone has cool stuff, fly stuff, that we're producing products that are physical for our users that are awesome and also have function to them. So that's basically when things come down to anything to do with the brand, that's basically my day-to-day stuff. Or like we did a bunch of events. So doing the setup at the events and, making sure just the presence is felt, all like anything physical basically to do with Bull Bitcoin that has the brand.
Are you on LinkedIn?
Am I on LinkedIn?
Yeah. Do you have a LinkedIn account?
I think I used to.
Okay. Well, I hope you don't. Everyone should delete their LinkedIn. But if you did have a LinkedIn, like your title, you're like the most badass head of comms at Bull Bitcoin or something. You're like VP of communication.
Well, the title is like creative director, artistic director. Like, I'm not using Figma to design stuff, but I'm complaining about the stuff that was designed in Figma. Full blown like artistic direction. And, and really I'm in the best possible position because the only in fiat, you want brand to be more powerful than product, but in Bitcoin and, hard money standards, you want the whole reason a brand exists is because the underlying product is fucking awesome. So if the engineers at Bull were all shit and everything Francis was doing was shit, like it doesn't matter how, they call it putting lipstick on a pig, right? It doesn't matter how much you fucking dress it up, how fucking cool you make it. If the product is fucked and annoying to fucking use and everything about it sucks, doesn't matter how many, endorsements or collaborations or how much cool stuff you make, like it just sucks. So I'm really, really lucky in that way that like I see myself as a extremely great designer, an extremely great creator. And the team of engineers that Francis leads at Bull are the best in Bitcoin as just a user. Like I can't even get into the technical stuff of it because I'm a trailer park layman, but just as a user every day running on Bitcoin, it's just like the best fucking product I've ever used. And it's got some stuff that is like, that some people complain about because it's not like a Coinbase experience. but that's what I think is so awesome about it. And, our customer support is the best in the fucking world. And, especially if you're, moving, if you're using it in your everyday life and you need fucking help doing it, it really does enable a Bitcoin standard. And so my work to make Bull Bitcoin as fucking awesome as it is, and also to believe myself it's awesome, is only made possible by how good the stack is.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the best Bitcoin businesses in the world. And I mean, I would go even further and say it's probably one of the best parts of Canada, period, is the existence. I've seen Americans like, I just wish I lived in Canada so I could use Bull Bitcoin. And it's very pure from a Bitcoin point of view. In terms of a lot of the trade-offs that are made are because Bull Bitcoin does not want to take custody of your funds, because Bull Bitcoin wants to reduce KYC exposure and personal information that they have on users. And they take a lot of pains to do this, but once you start using it, and as an American, I've never actually used it, but I've seen the flow from my friends up north. Once you start using it, it's actually even more convenient of an experience because you're getting Bitcoin and it's like shipping right to your own wallet that you're holding yourself. I guess recently you guys have also shipped in France and Costa Rica. Francis kind of just like scratches his own itch, and I guess he is French Canadian, so France made sense, and he's been living in Costa Rica, so it meant a lot to him.
Well, also France is primed. France is ready for this, right? Like the France is a powder keg right now, and they don't have any. They don't have any of the language. Like there's no Odell podcast based out of Paris, the French version. Yeah. There's nobody talking about fucking freedom and liberty over there to the extent that we do with kind of our American ideals. So it's a fucking amazing place. So it's really ready. It's time. So it just kind of lined up perfectly in just meeting and making the right connections, and then kind of making the moves and wanting to expand into Europe for a while. And then kind of this is the way it worked out, and it's perfect because we're all almost all of us at Bull have some French roots of some sort or another.
Love it. And what I was gonna say was, and then your branding is, I mean, you do such a good job. It's one of the strongest brands in the space, and it just gets you going. It gets you very excited about the movement, and it complements the brand really well. So guys, that's bullbitcoin.com. I believe those are the only 3 countries you support right now.
Costa Rica, France, and Canada.
Yeah, and particularly the Costa Rica integration is really fucking cool because they have like this digital payment method called SimPay that most Costa Ricans already have that's tied to a phone number, and it just seamlessly integrates with that. And there's a circular economy down there called Bitcoin Jungle that Francis has been a key part of, where they accept Bitcoin. You can just live your life on a Bitcoin standard, and Bull Bitcoin has been a key bridging aspect there, bridging between the fiat world and the Bitcoin world. So I mean, shout out to you guys. That's been fucking awesome. The last major topic on my list that we've been talking about a lot lately is so you're an artist, right? And as an artist, one of the key dependencies you have is communicating with your audience and being able to distribute your art and on a global scale and actually connect with the people that are out there buying it. And you've had a lot of difficulty with X and Twitter before it.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to get you to use Nostr more. I think there's something if we're successful on Nostr, like it could be the single biggest the combination of Nostr with Bitcoin could be the single biggest boost for independent artists like yourself. I think.
Yeah, I mean, it already is just with fucking zaps, man. Like, just with the zaps, it's already better than Twitter in a lot of ways. I also find like a lot of people complain about kind of interacting with it, and like it's got, it's new, but I like that feature about it because I found that since I've been trying to switch over to Nostr and like be consciously thinking about it, okay, and engage with Nostr, it's actually way more efficient because I'm only able to engage with it for maybe 5 minutes before it kind of starts having problems. And then I actually go and do something productive, which I think is great for everybody, honestly. I think it's a feature, not a bug. And, I don't, like, what really sucks right now is that I'm like, the most important thing that Madex needs is just eyes and new people discovering it. And the most frustrating thing is I put all this energy and all this time into building this platform on Twitter where my success is entirely at the mercy of their bullshit. So their algorithms and it's better since the whole Elon takeover, but it's still just horrible, man. Like, I'm just not getting served anywhere to anybody who should be seeing me. And then what happens is I get reserved over and over and over again to people who already know me and care about me. And then, I don't want to, there's got to be a way to push content without annoying the users that the people who are already with you, but that can reach other people, because that's the only way I'm going to succeed is I got to have 10,000 people that will support whatever Madex releases. And I don't know where the line is to, like, I don't know how to do that. Like, don't piss off the current following and reach forward into new following. And, it's kind of insane, man. Like, I put all that fucking effort into the manifesto video. It's basically like, it's manifesto for a reason. It's like my life's fucking work at this point. And I think it got in the first week, I think it got like 1,000 actual views. It got a ton of impressions, but like 1,000 views.
Yeah, those numbers are bullshit.
I make this fucking video telling David Bailey to fuck off for trying to get me to do an ordinal project. And that got 200,000 views in 3 days. So like some stupid shit post I made with a fucking broken leg, and it's just fucked, man. The incentives are totally fucked. And then something I actually care about that I want people to see, that I put all the time and effort into, just like Twitter does not serve it, does not care. And then what happens is the ramp in Twitter is that that when I released the manifesto, it was spooling like crazy. It got like 20,000 impressions, and then it got up to 50,000 impressions in like the next like batch of time. And then it just stops. Like Twitter just like fucking cuts it off. Yep. And then just stop. I don't know why. Stop serving it to people or whatever.
It's a black box. It's a black box. But I have no idea.
It's fucked up because my fucking life actually depends on people seeing that fucking video. Like every part of Madex depends on that exposure. And Twitter, for some fucking, and it's not even an addressable thing. It's just for whatever fucking reason that nobody on earth, probably even the people that work there, can explain. It just stops. And they just fucking cut me off. Like, oh, 50,000 impressions, that's enough for you. Like, fuck off now. So then I'm stuck. And then like Instagram's the same way. I was talking to some guys that do like social media work, and they're saying it's all fucked right now. Everything sucks. And especially with like all the spam from the elections and whatnot. So I don't know what the solution is, but I'm going to go in on Nostr. I mean, already like I thought nobody was following me at all. And then finally, I like was patient enough to let the follower account load, and I think there was like 3,000 people or something. I was like, oh, holy shit. Like,
yeah. So, I mean, first of all, follower counts in general are bullshit across all of centralized social media. But on Nostr, it is even more apparent because there's no objective follower number, right? I mean, you could spin up as many npubs as you want. And like when you press, that's why when you press in different Nostr clients, when you press like how many followers does an account have,
it's different. Yeah.
It loads different every time because it's literally just on demand, like pulling from different relays or whatever. Primal has a caching server, so they try and give you the top level number because they have insight into the whole network, and then they cache it themselves. So that's why on Primal you'll see the highest follower account number. But the point is that it's transparent and no one can block you. No one can no one can feed you into a black box algorithm. No one can kneecap you out of nowhere and just take away your livelihood. And I think long term Nostr will fix this. It is very clearly early days, but similar to Bitcoin, it can't just be seen as this tech project. It's a movement of people. And like, we have to will this fucking thing into existence. Like, we willed Bitcoin into existence. We were successful. Now, I don't think Bitcoin, I think Bitcoin still needs more willing and motivation. Like, we need to make sure that Bitcoin is usable as freedom money and more people have access to it as freedom money. But we just straight up fucking willed Bitcoin into existence. And now we can will Nostr into existence, and it will get better over time. And ultimately, long term, it will fix exactly this issue. And you won't, when you make a post, you won't have to worry, do I piss off the wrong person? If I link to this versus linking to this, does it fuck me over in the algorithm or whatever?
Yeah.
And I think it frees people up, similar to the way Bitcoin frees you up to focus on what's important in life, because you don't have to be a financial wizard or hire someone to manage your fucking money. You can just stay humble and stack sats. Nostr will do the same for communications, in that you don't have to spend precious mental capacity and time on like trying to develop a strategy that works with whatever Zuckerberg decides he wants to do with Instagram at any given fucking time. And you can just fucking broadcast to the world. And if you have people that want to consume that and want to interact with you, then they can without permission. That is insanely powerful. But we have to, like, it requires people to fucking do this thing. And
It's critically important, man. I mean, like my entire life at one point, like the Elon shit helped a little bit with it, but I could have been axed at any moment. And then, right now the equation for Madex is just like reach new person who's interested in what I'm doing. And okay, some supreme power decides that I shouldn't be able to reach people. Like if I got banned even beforehand, like I don't know what the option would have even been. Like get other people to tweet about the project, right? Like, and then they get banned. So,
and what's
but I'm loving it so far.
Yeah. What's almost even worse than the ban is the shadow ban, where your reach is handicapped.
Where you don't even know.
And so you're just this product. You're just this product in this fucking wheel. While on Nostr, like, you're a user. You're not a product.
Yeah.
You can actually, and you have control over your destiny. So what I would say to you is, you want this ability to like separate between the ride or dies and the new audience. Is, for now, I'm obviously fucking insane person, and I just, I spent a decade building my Twitter account and putting all this effort and time into it, and then I just walked away and deleted it. I don't expect most people to do that. I knew eventually I was going to say something or piss off the wrong person, that I was going to get kneecapped there, and I'd rather walk away on my own terms than wait for that to happen. Like, fuck them. Like, they can't have it. Like, I took all my tweets and I rebroadcast them on Nostr. The only place you can read them is on Nostr, and fuck that shit. I'm going to do it on my own. But with that all said, like, you can use Twitter and Instagram for like your outreach. The ride or dies are already on Nostr, and I don't know who said it. I'm not good with quotes, but it's like 1,000 good fans or 2,000 good fans, true fans, like real people. Is all you really need to be successful in the short term and the medium term. They'll carry you through. They're the ride or dies. They're on Nostr, so you focus on the ride or dies on Nostr, and eventually, if we're correct and Nostr, we actually build this fucking thing out, it will solve the mainstream problem for you too. And the beauty of Nostr is that because the user gets to choose what kind of content they consume and have algorithmic choice, they can use algorithms, they can not use algorithms, they can see what's going on. At some point, your Nostr will be for both the ride or dies and the mainstream. And the actual end user can actually dictate how they want that experience to be. And you can just ship and focus on what you love and focus on art and focus on beautiful things rather than all this fucking fiat bullshit. Like, that's the world I want to live in. That's the world I want my kids to live in. That's the world I want their kids to live in. So let's fucking make it happen,
Yeah, no, I'm down, man. And, so far I'm happy with it. And yeah, I think like it's hard to kind of explain the equation, but it in a way that carries the weight. But it's really like, you know, I actually don't know how stuff gets shared really. I know people retweet it with Nostr, but I don't think there's anything that pushes stuff out other than that, right? It's like fully
Well, yeah. So right now,
organic engagement that pushes stuff to
yeah.
new people. Like when I post on Nostr, how do I know new people are gonna see this?
But
I gotta rely on like retweets or
right now, there's only one real main algorithm, and that's the primal trending list, which is a very basic algorithm. Um, Everyone else, if you're not using Primal or if you're not using the Primal trending list, which is, obviously opt in, you don't have to use it, is literally just like organic chronological feed. But what's going to happen, and Primal's shipping this soon, they're calling it a feed marketplace, is anyone can build an algorithm, an open algorithm that you can see how it works. And the users can choose what feeds they want to use and how they want to use it, and it will help with discovery. But a key thing to keep in mind here, and this was one of the reasons I really loved Twitter, was Twitter was always very open in terms of sharing, right? So I always said like Twitter users were undercounted because if you were reading, I mean, you fuck the New York Times, but if you're reading a New York Times article and there's a tweet quoted in the New York Times article, you're an indirect Twitter user, right? And I think that's what happens with Nostr because you're seeing these walled gardens pop up. I can't view your Instagram posts if I'm not an Instagram user. I can't view your tweets, your X posts if I'm not an X user. But anyone who's not using Nostr can use can view your posts anywhere. So they can be shared in Signal or Telegram or Matrix, wherever, iMessage, and people might be seeing it, and they're just like lurkers, right? Like most people are just viewers; they don't actually interact. So there's no way for you to know exactly how many people are viewing. But the key thing to keep in mind here is nobody knows across. Like when Elon says there's a 500 million Twitter users, X users, we're just taking him at his fucking word. Like, there's no way to know when you say the impressions on the Madex Manifesto.
yeah.
There's no way to verify that. We can't prove that, and so with Nostr, it's going to be the same way. But I think it'll be like the true global square, the true place where you can post and anyone can view it anywhere in the world from anything, um, and and that will just compound on itself. Like all the old stuff that you post will also get resurfaced and it'll get reshown and reshared. Um, so I would just keep shipping. We're working on the Nostr like around the clock to like make this thing
Yeah.
not only censorship resistant, not only more freedom focused, not only have Bitcoin integrated, but it is going to be the most seamless experience, the quickest, the fastest, the most usable experience rather than the friction that we have right now.
I think it would be great to have almost two feeds because that equation of like tweet equals hopefully new eyeballs equals hopefully new traffic. It'd be great to have two sections that like one is, all like your almost like a curated section. Like these are all the best Nostr posts I've made.
Yeah.
And you can mark them to go to that side. And then this is just like everything.
Yeah,
But
Primal has
also
that.
maybe a lot of
If you go to
maybe
if
a
you
lot
go
of
to,
the
like,
mass posting stuff, maybe a lot of the mass posting stuff is solved by these things that Nostr will provide. Because right now the mass posting thing is just like it's really an Instagram solution because it's like people are just fucking scrolling. Literally the only way to get ahead is just like pure like overload. You just got to be like avalanching content into the
it's such a
platform.
bad incentive. It's a fucked up incentive because and then it just results in like a society that's just fucking addicted to their phones and addicted to the social media. And people like wake up in the morning, they like open X and they're like, what am I supposed to be mad about today? Like, what is the thing? Like, they literally roll out of bed and they're like, what am I supposed to care about today?
Yeah,
And then
it's
they
like
let
their
the algorithm
IKEA
feed it to them.
instruction booklet when they wake up.
It's
For their
fucked up.
day.
Anyway, sir, this has been
Well,
been
how
a
much
great
time do we have left? Because I have some important announcements.
Yeah, you have 10 more minutes, so because I have to
Oh, well,
get back to my family. What do you have for us?
that's lots. okay, main thing is I'm going through this like Madex, right? So I am Madex. I go by that, and then that's how I've been pushing this, obviously, for a long time because it's me. But like the ultimate goal of the project is to be sort of a design house similar to a fashion company, and to be hiring, employing artists and other talented manufacturers and tradespeople and aggregating it all to just do whatever it takes to make the best possible fucking artwork. And then in the same way that like Christian Dior is the head of a fashion company, there's like design heads. And right now I am in charge of all of the design. And so going into this expansion, I'm looking to hire somebody that is a project manager. I saw somebody ask in one of the comments somewhere, was like, why don't you have a manager? It's like, well, actually, I think the time's come that I actually need one. So I'm just putting that out there. I don't know if anyone is insanely capable at getting stuff done. That's basically the job offering. I'm looking for someone to work full-time with Madex. If you're not in Alberta, possibly move to Alberta for this position. And it's essentially the next step because Madex, I'm pretty well one-man band man with like some help here and there. And, I bring people in when I need to, but it's a lot. And my specific talent is design and marketing. And that's what I need to be focused on. And I need someone to come in and help me with logistics. So I'm searching for that. And then I also just kind of back when you were telling me about like, not doing the NFT stuff and not doing, the ordinal things and all of that. I mean, really the only reason that that's possible is, well, my ethical foundation, but really Bitcoin and Bull Bitcoin and Dave Bradley and all the other like major people that have kind of helped me get to this point. And majority stake Bitcoin, putting me in a position that I can actually turn down an offer like that, and sleep at night and feel happy about it. Recently there's been some drama with the whole mempool thing, and I don't know the ins and outs of that at all, but from the surface level, like where we're all us Bitcoiners are really busy hodling, and we're not putting up our money to this kind of stuff, and crypto has infinite money and they're going to put it wherever the fuck they want. And so like my comment on the mempool thing was, hey, if y'all didn't want this to get fucking co-opted, obfuscated, like where was the Bitcoin money then? Like where was the money from Bitcoiners that put them in a position to say, go fuck yourself, crypto, we're not going to get involved in it? I don't know. And I'm not clear on that whole situation, but it's just kind of something I think about. And as a result of that, like it's really important to me that Madex inspires another generation of artists / that Madex can reach artists, creators that are outside of Bitcoin and kind of show them that their work and their talent will be recognized and well respected in the Bitcoin world. And also as for myself, I want to be able to buy, cool stuff from other people, other creators, other artists. I have an art collection of myself coming together. And also I'm always looking for stuff to get made that's fucking awesome. And so I really hope the success of Madex can just be this kind of beacon that pulls more operatives, more creators, more builders into the space and have them like making really amazing stuff. Because, I'm doing the best I can. I'm trying to find tricks and ways to get better and improve. And, but really I'm shit compared to what any talent that's out there. It's just like people need to find a place that they can kind of serve it to. So I hope that Bitcoin is that place, and I hope Madex brings people into our world. And for artists and creators, I've been noticing a lot that like there's kind of a whole mustardy thing around money and making money. And I think that it's really important for anyone in the space to really be 100% happy with making money and not be fucking weird about it, because accepting capital for your labors and for your worth is the highest fucking honor that there is. For you to produce something of high enough value that someone else in the market is willing to do business with you and to exchange with you is just absolutely fucking beautiful. And it's been getting a bad rap because of how fiat fucks all of that stuff up. Like how hard money works is that those who are most valuable to society are the wealthiest, and those who can help produce the much and, you know, ensure the most forward movement are celebrated. But in fiat, it's those who are the most treacherous. And that is kind of what gives us all this bad taste about making cash. So I don't know, any artists or creatives out there, like, don't be fucking weird about making money. Like, if you're good at something, never do it for free, and definitely put a fucking price on it. And you know, moving forward into this Bitcoin world, we'll really come to see that like there's nothing fucking awkward about being really fucking good at something and then going to the market and finding a price. And I guess that's my rant. Also, anyone, especially you, Odell, come to fucking Alberta for the Bitcoin rodeo in July, and I will feed you the best fucking steak you've ever had in your life.
Let's fucking go.
And Harry can verify this because he came to the rodeo in July.
Yeah, he said only good things.
Fuck yeah. So we're doing it again, and it's another opportunity to see Madex stuff. And then obviously Bitcoin Park, there's going to be about 20 or so major pieces at Park that can be viewed and checked out. And I'll be shipping you guys some jewelry and stuff too. And I guess that's my, I don't know, did I make the 10 minutes?
I mean, you kind of pushed it to the limit because my battery is also almost dead.
I thought you were a professional.
My screen's going to... Well, this was actually a 2-podcast day. I did Preston right before this podcast. I went on his show. Now that I have a kid, I have to, like... You have to do the time jigsaw puzzle. You start to realize where the priorities lie and try and focus. I mean, time is like is legit our most scarce asset. Everything else, you can't buy more time.
It is, man.
Fiat has fucked up all of our priorities and how we do time management. And I mean, that's another reason why, like, I can't have my kid grow up and like see me addicted to fucking X. Like, that's just,
yeah, no, fuck that, man.
That's a sad experience, and we need to make the world better. It's time is of the essence.
We already are.
Damn right we are. Madex, pleasure as always. I look forward to kicking it in person sometime soon. Hopefully before.
Yeah, I'll be in Nashville in November. I'll see you there.
Oh shit! Fuck yeah. Okay, so I'll see you soon. And do you have any final thoughts for our audience before we wrap?
Do I have any final thoughts? No, I think I kind of got everything out of the way. I mean, I can really go ranting, but I feel like I don't even start getting fired up until I'm an hour and a half in. I gotta do like an hour and a half preload, and then we'll start the podcast. But no thoughts. I think it was. I'm really grateful for everything you guys are doing at Park for the world. Also, very happy to be able to call it a flagship gallery for Madex very shortly here. And yeah, I'm really grateful to Rodolfo and Matt from Start9, and I'm grateful for Harry. I'm grateful for Francis. I'm grateful for Dave. Grateful for all the people in the space that are working so fucking hard to really make this fucking Bitcoin thing happen. And it's been a long journey, and we got a lot of work to do.
Fuck yeah, let's get it done. I agree with you. I love the long 3-hour rips. So we'll make sure we have one of those in our future. And just keep pushing forward, man. You're fucking crushing it. I'll see you soon. Peace.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
Our world is chaotic, but life found its way by channeling energy to bring order to chaos. It is in our nature to seek signals amongst noise because it is through communication and exchange that we evolve beyond the darkness of chaos into the dawn of civilization. Our evolution thrives in exchange of all the info we try to convey. They flow through to the marketplace and form the signals to regulate how we coordinate where things need to be. Price speaks, so we learn to compete. This drives us to efficiently shape the world with our voice. Now let the market speak. So we build, we sow, we trade, we grow to meet our wants and needs. We specialize to drive from the mind our creations into reality. We make progress in our process to get more for less, advancing society. We brought forth dawn of the age of technology that harnessed the energy to reach prosperity. Our money embodies the power to reap what we sow, so the market becomes a channel for our collective energy to flow. When value is traded for value, we are aligned and so we evolve. This is how, amidst uncertainty, life continues to grow. But the dawn of tech gave rise to light speed information exchange. So to transact fast, we further abstract money from energy constraints and became more aligned on a few large entities to coordinate trade, concentrating the power, resources, and authority to create more and more of our money, distorting its signals, eroding its worth, and throwing us back into the darkness of chaos. When we destroy the mechanism of money, we destroy our ability to navigate through uncertainty. And when we can't trade value freely and directly, we must trust the few to govern the many. What happens when all our means center around an authority? Complexity builds, now coordination relies on conformity. Observe our thoughts to censor dissent and coerce our actions. Can there be true innovation when there's no freedom of expression? What happens to our voice, the ones that shape social discourse? Now whose ideas gets created and which problems get solved? If our progress depends on hearing many sides to resolve, then why would we suppress the voice that shapes how humanity evolves? When we cut off the perspectives that make up society, we lose sight of the truth that forms our entire reality. Each person's contribution builds up our resiliency. Did we forget these differences are what strengthens humanity? When communication breaks, our words turn to silence. Our acts become violent and the world is divided amongst darkness. Truth is twisted by our pain and our bias, eroding the common ground, making us more and more fragile. To navigate uncertainty, we must solve for robustness. So everything gets tried and tested by various efforts until we discover the system that best coordinates us, mirrors life's process of channeling energy to create signal from chaos. In the era of technology, we transform energy into computational power to process the noise of free markets into structured order. And just by looking at numbers, we can derive how much power is required to reduce chaos and inscribe a flow of value for all to verify that our transactions happened in line with shared rules. We don't need to seek trust when we can see proof. It is real-time consensus that aligns us to evolve. This is how, amidst uncertainty, our lives continue to grow when we uphold our own rules, we preserve our own worth, and defend our own voice, which lets the true market emerge. The strength of the design lies in each of our participation, since we are the nodes that channel our energy end to end. As we claim responsibility to uphold our own rights, we radiate the power that brings our truth into light. And when that dawn of light touches all parts of the globe, and it ripples throughout society, and it returns us the hope that becomes the power that sparks humanity to thrive, that same power that fuels the creation of the mind. And when our mind and our money are truly set free and they transcend the limits of past boundaries, now knowing becomes owning and ideas become wealth. What happens now? We can all push to expand the edges of our existence. It is through evolution when things are the hardest. As we head for the light, we have to push through the darkness. It is in these moments we do what we do best. We take the chaos and the darkness and use our power to create. It is in these moments when we're all in alignment and our freedom of difference ascends us to our highest amidst the depth of it all. Know that hope is not gone. It is always darkest before dawn.
Love you, freaks. I hope you enjoyed that rip. Sorry for the technical difficulties. Once again, I'm on the road. I'm working on it. But I appreciate you all, especially everyone who supports the show and comes and joins us in the live chat. You guys make it all worth it. So thank you. Next week, I have Adam back joining us. I don't know exactly when. I'm shooting for Wednesday, the 23rd at 1700 UTC, but that might change. I'll keep you guys updated on Nostr. That outro I did last week as well. That's Tip NZ. You can find her on Nostr and probably all the other social media out there. But you just search Tip_NZ. I think she's fucking crushing it, which is why I just doubled up on an outro. I love you all. Stay humble, stack sats. Cheers.